This is Overpass. It is a video game. A key was provided by McEwen Games Publishing. Now that boring nonsense is out of the way, let's get to Overpass. For about a week now, I've been playing little bits of Overpass, which has been a task within itself. The footage that you're seeing has been muted mostly because of my swearing and because at about 23 minutes into a race that was supposed to take about 4 minutes, I said this. Come on! Get up the hill! After 23 minutes, my ulala was covered in more mud than a dogger. Now, I don't believe most people would say that, and I don't believe any sane person would say that after racing for 23 minutes on a track that's meant to be for 4 minutes. There's a reason that I sat there for 23 minutes or more, because I actually sat there for about 30 odd minutes before I went, you know what, no, not doing it. And that's mostly because I have put up with, well, quite a lot with some simulators or some games that are purporting to be sports simulators in any way, shape or form. I've sat there and played some of the worst and some of the better ends of sports simulators or extreme sports simulators or whatever you want to call Overpass. For the most part, it is, here is an off-road vehicle, you're not allowed to go off-road in the way that you want to, you have to do exactly how we want you to race, but we're not going to tell you how that works or exactly the rules that we want you to follow. Let me explain. The game, for the most part, feels like something from a PS2 racing game. The one that's sticking in my mind the most, and I think it's mostly because it's sitting right behind me as I record this, is Midas? Is that the name of the publisher? It's a 2005 game called Truck Racing 2. It's for the PS2. This is an Amazon listing for it in the UK, and there is game footage that I will get David to put in the description below, or I'll yell at him. Or he'll yell at me because I've told him to do something. Nonetheless, Overpass doesn't feel like a PS4, Xbox One, PC racing game. It feels like that PS2 era of something that doesn't feel too weighty, I guess would be the word. I don't think that's a word, but screw it. Dyslexia dictates, yes it is. The weight that you're supposed to feel doesn't feel anything like what it should in theory. Part of the game, I won't say purports, because it does demand that you use your weight to balance one vehicle, and that is the ATV. Now, the ATV is... I have some choice words for the ATV. Let's put it that way. Now, let's jump straight into that. The ATV is the worst thing in this game, and I'll tell you for why. It destroys a very simple thing that every game ever has used, well, most games since the PS2 era, and that is the right analog stick to control the camera. I know Kingdom Come Deliverance, or whatever the bloody hell it's called, actually used it for doing your swishes with a sword. I don't care. That was stupid then, this is stupid now. Don't use the right analog stick for anything else. as is ingrained with every single human's brain, is for the camera. Right analog stick, camera. Nothing else is intuitive. Oh, how about we use the left stick for some reason? Well, no, it's not Yakuza 4 Dead, whatever the bloody hell that was called. It's not that game. You're not running and then suddenly aim and then whee! There goes a ceiling tile. You've not just destroyed your head with some dry, whatever the bloody hell it is. I've never worked in an office, I don't understand people that do, but you've destroyed your head and you've destroyed the ceiling, so you have to pay for that. That tangent was mostly because the ATVs destroy every camera that you can use in Overpass. Because you have to use the right analog stick to slightly move your weight forward or backwards, it is horrible. How do you control the camera, one might ask? Well, I'll tell you, young one. It is by clicking the stick in and holding it. That is stupid. Utterly, utterly stupid. Well, surely that only works for the ATV. How about the proper... I wouldn't even know what to call it. I don't sound like a man that goes rolling in mud on the weekend, do I? No. But you have the four-wheeled thing with a cage over the top of you. Yes, that thing. I think normal people would usually buy one that has the name Kawasaki, but apparently that's not one of the licenses used in this game. Nonetheless, that uses exactly the same camera mechanics because, well, no, I can't think of any good reason why. There is nothing that is intuitive to tell you, oh yeah, use the right analog stick for anything else. Or you click in the analog stick, then you can move the camera about. Yeah, click in the right analog stick on your controller that's sitting closest to you, then hold it as well, and move it up. See how intuitive that is? Okay, move it back, then twiddle it about. Yeah, that's not the easiest thing to do, especially when you're trying to drive it. Well, it depends in this game. Sometimes you'll be on a cliff and you'll be going 0 miles per hour, but you're going along dirt, and then the handling is arcadey, and I don't like that. That's another problem. Let's simply put it this way. When you are driving in a game that's meant to be somewhat simulatory, somewhat racing with an arcade feel, you'd think in some way, shape or form you should have control. Yes, good, you have control, but it's not really fun control. It's not control that you feel like you're on the edge, and if you hit the brake button you're going to send your back end out into a field. There's nothing fun about driving in this driving game. There's a reason I'm comparing this to late PS2 games, because, well, it just doesn't feel like anyone's played a racing game beyond that point. Hell, even then, Burnout felt somewhat good to play. It still does. I have played it recently, and it is brilliant. It is fantastic, the amount of control that you have. But Overpass, which is on the Xbox One, as you're seeing it, is so much slower. Not unresponsive, but just too... I don't feel like I could make a mistake. And maybe I'm spoiled by games like Wreckfest, which has a lot of weight behind its driving. When you go round a corner and you are on mud or you're on tarmac or anything else, you have enough control to go round the corner, but you also have just enough pulled away from you that you feel like not only are you driving something, but you're driving something with weight. This ties back into the camera thing that I started on. The game doesn't have a lot of weight behind the driving. This is what the whole tilting back and forth with the ATV bothers me about. Yes, you're using that thing. It is very simple, very intuitive to have in a game where you are trying to get up a hill or get down a hill in the safest possible way within time, but, and this is the big but, why sacrifice the camera for something that you can do with your normal left analog stick? It is already there, just pull it back. You're not controlling your acceleration with that. Let me use that.